Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my routine for nap time as a busy mom who also works from home, and I have 2 toddlers currently. I have 1 on the way, and how I prioritize nap time to actually get things done and be productive while also getting some rest time in. So I'm excited to share this with you, and if you are new around here, I share lots of videos about motherhood and raising toddlers, all of those kind of things, as well as backyard homesteading. We have animals in our backyard, and we're kind of those crazy people. But if you're interested in any of those kind of things, I would love for you to subscribe and leave a like and comment, and I would love to get to know you. Thank you so much for watching my video. Okay, first things first, I'm in my kitchen. We just finished lunchtime, and I wanted to share a little bit of that and just kind of how we do naps in general around here. So my kids typically nap from 1 to 4 p.m. Sometimes it's a little bit later, like 1:30 to 4:30. If I get them down late, then I'll push it a little bit later on the other end as well, unless we have something to get to. And usually they're sleeping about 2 hours of that time. It does take them sometimes a little bit on the front end to fall asleep and calm down. Sometimes they fall asleep super quick. It kind of just depends. And then usually they wake up and they are usually in their room playing and talking to each other and just keeping themselves busy for about 30 minutes typically. And so I have a set time of either, like I said, 4 or 4:30 if they get down late, which doesn't happen a ton, but they are old enough now that I can be a little bit flexible with that. Camden just turned 3, and then Knox will be 2 in a couple months. So that's kind of how we do nap time, and I prioritize that time to get 3 hours, like I said, on a regular basis, so that I can get work done as a mom too. I work from home. I need to have some time to focus on what I'm trying to do and get those things accomplished. And I do that in the morning as well before they wake up. But it's really important to me that I get that time in the middle of the day also. And it's worked really well for us this way. They don't sit there and cry, like they're not in there inconsolable or anything like that. They very much entertain themselves. They talk to each other when they wake up until they know the birds come on their little sound machine and they know it's time to come out. Obviously, my almost 2-year-old is still in a crib, so he can't come out on his own. I have to go get him anyways, but that kind of tells you how we do nap time around here, and it's worked really well for us to prioritize that time from the beginning. Camden is getting older, and we're about to have our 3rd baby in the next month or 2. And things may look a little bit different then. I plan to always prioritize nap time, and even once they stop napping, utilize quiet time instead, so that I'm still having that middle of the day time where they are entertaining themselves. They get some independent time and rest time, because I think that's super important for kids. Whew, if I sound out of breath, it's because I am. Being 32 weeks pregnant, gosh, I don't know, just talking, I'm getting out of breath. What is happening? You'd think I'd be used to it by my 3rd time around, but anyways. So during lunchtime, I obviously feed them before they go down, just like normal. I typically don't eat with them though. My husband does come home for lunch, so he's home most days, and he typically eats with them. Occasionally we'll eat together, all 4 of us, and have like a family meal, but I would say the majority of the time Matt is eating with the kids. I fix their food, get them all set up, they're eating together, and I'm usually doing dishes actually. We don't have a dishwasher, so dishes is something that I do throughout the day so that I don't have to do a ton of it in the evenings. And so I found it works really well to be in the kitchen with them. I can still be a part of their conversation while they eat, get them things if they need it, you know, talk to Matt while he's on his lunch break, but I can also get the dishes that have accumulated from the start of the day till then done, and start off nap time with a little bit of a quieter home, peaceful, and not having a pile up of dishes after dinner, if that makes sense. So that's typically what I'm doing. Then I just lay them down. We have a very simple routine as far as like laying them down. It takes only a couple minutes, and they lay straight down and are quiet, and even if they don't fall asleep right away, most of the time they're quiet and they're able to just lay in there calmly until they fall asleep. So now I'm going to make my own lunch and get started with our nap time. Okay, I have my lunch ready. I admittedly have been a lot more hungry lately now that I'm finally feeling better and able to hold more down. I've been trying to get like just a lot of protein in my diet and trying to have as balanced meals as possible. So I have some we do leftovers for lunch pretty much all the time, and so we had some leftover, I think it was bacon and bean soup that we mixed with some rice, so I have that. I have a sourdough dinner roll with some butter and honey on it, some carrots, some cottage cheese. The cottage cheese I've been doing in small portions throughout the day as like a little snack or with lunch or whatever to add some protein. And then I do have my iced coffee because I finally like iced coffee again. It has taken, like 8 months, 7 or 8 months before I finally got back to liking my normal coffee like normal. And I'm so excited to like it again. So I have my coffee and my water and my book, and usually I'll sit down and I'll eat while I watch a YouTube video for about 20 minutes or so, and then I usually read my book after that. Okay, I just finished my lunch. Also, don't mind the fact that I still have like half Christmas decor up. It is what it is. It's taking me a little longer this year to get it taken down and organized and all of those things, but it is coming down the rest of the way this weekend, and I'm excited for the reset. But if my decor looks a little crazy, that's why. But I just finished lunch, and so now I usually start out nap time actually with reading for 20 minutes. And so reading is something that I loved as like a kid and a teenager, and then I basically stopped reading altogether for like 10 years. And after going through some really hard times with postpartum depression, severe burnout in entrepreneurship and business, and just several mental health struggles like that, reading became something that I tried to prioritize again, and I have been prioritizing again for almost 2 years now. And especially in the last year, I've really amped up my reading time, and I was able to read, I think I finished with 38 books in 2022. Which is incredible for me because before that, the year before that, I think I read 10, 8 to 10, something like that. I'd have to check for sure. And the years before that, it was literally, I mean, 0 or maybe like 1 or 2 books. Like, I was not reading a lot at all. And I've really enjoyed it. It helps, it's a hobby for me. It helps me wind down and all of those things. But one of the ways I prioritize that as a busy mom who also works and has multiple businesses and lots of things to kind of keep juggling, is I prioritize like small bits of time. And so usually in the mornings, well, not every single morning, it kind of depends on my to-do list, but a lot of times before the kids wake up, I will prioritize like 20 minutes of reading there. That doesn't happen every single day though. During nap time, I do prioritize 20 minutes of reading every day. And then in the evening, I also prioritize that. So sometimes in the evening, I'll read longer than 20 minutes. It just kind of depends. But if I know I have a really busy day and I have a long work to-do list and just a lot of things to get done, I'll just do 20 minutes and then I'll cut it off right at the 20 minutes. It doesn't take up too much of the time I have. I'm able to rest a little bit before I jump into work, and I'm able to make progress on my books, and that's helped me read a lot quicker and get through books a lot quicker, and it's just really enjoyable for me. So that's what I'm going to do now. Hey Siri, set a timer for 20 minutes.
20.
Oftentimes I have to do some sort of sourdough task during nap time, and usually the thing about sourdough is it's not hard. Hold on, I'm using my calculator real quick on my Apple Watch because that makes it really easy to calculate how much I need to feed it. The thing with sourdough is that it's not hard at all, but it does take some time to get used to just kind of like the scheduling of it and the fact that it does take longer. And it's not that it's a lot of active time, it just takes more steps. So you kind of have to remember, okay, I need to feed my starter, you know, 3 to 6 hours before I want to use it for this recipe, and then I'm going to start the recipe and mix everything together, and then I'm going to let that sit overnight, and then the next morning I'll finish the recipe and shape it or bake it or whatever I need to do. And so it's kind of just multiple steps. It's not a lot of work, but it does take some intentional thought. And so a lot of nap time I am either like feeding my starter or, you know, shaping bread or doing something like that that just takes, you know, literally like 5 minutes. But it gets done a lot of time during nap time. Sometimes it happens in the morning when the kids are awake, and I definitely let them help me in things. But if I have started something in the morning and then it needs the next step in the during nap time, then I'll just quickly do that. And I found something that helps a lot with this is putting that on my to-do list, because otherwise, or setting a actual timer for the specific time that I need to do the next step, because otherwise it's really easy to forget, and especially when you're trying to get into the habit of it, it's very easy to forget the next step and let it go too long. That's just a quick tip if you are trying to get into sourdough, to kind of help you have a little bit more success with it and just make it an easier transition. It does take some time, so give yourself grace for sure, but we've had a lot of people asking questions about sourdough stuff lately since we do it so often, and I do plan to do a video soon if that's something that you guys want to see on how we utilize that in our family. Now it is time for my work time. So to give you a little bit of just a brief background, I have started 2 different businesses in the last 5 to 10 years that ultimately were successful enough that my husband and I ran them full-time. For over 5 years we were full-time together. I was full-time before that, and then he came on full-time. Then about a year ago, he actually got a regular job because we needed a little bit of a break from entrepreneurship. I can share more about that, but honestly, burnout is a real thing, and if you don't have consistent rhythms and routines to keep you in healthy balance with work and life, it can get to be a lot really quickly. As amazing as entrepreneurship life is, and as much freedom as there is in it, if you don't have the right balance and you don't have your priorities straight, it can be something that is not actually bringing you freedom anymore. So anyways, he got a regular job about a year ago, and so the last year has kind of looked different for me than it has in the past decade, honestly. And I have had several businesses that I've been working on throughout the past year, mostly on a part-time capacity at this point, and I'm working on growing them to be bigger, but I do work on YouTube consistently. I'm working on creating a course that I'll have more information on soon. I'm hesitant to even share that because I haven't really shared it publicly yet, but I'm very, very excited about it and hopeful that it will be very helpful to a lot of people. And then I also do a few other things on the side here and there, as well as like occasional photography shoots that we have for past clients. That was one of our past businesses, and so we occasionally will still do sessions for past clients and things like that. But so I'm always doing something. I always have some sort of work project that I'm working on, and so I need consistent work time to be able to get that stuff done. I get up before my kids and I get work done in the mornings, and then I do it at nap time. And so I usually get, I would say, about an hour and a half to 2 hours of my nap time that I'm able to work on work things. And so one of the big things for me is keeping a to-do list. That has been huge. And if you work from home, or honestly, even if you don't work from home and you are a stay-at-home mom, you still have a lot of responsibilities and different things to balance. And I think keeping a to-do list on your phone, on paper, however you want to do it, is so, so helpful. I think it is so hard as a mom. You have so many things in your brain. Your kids constantly are needing things, and if you don't write down what you want to accomplish that day, I just feel like it doesn't get done. And then you spend most of the downtime that you do have where kids are sleeping or entertained or are quiet, you're like, oh, what do I even do now? Because I don't even know what I need to get done. And now I have to spend my time thinking about what I need to get done instead of actually accomplishing it. So the night before or the morning of, I always make a daily to-do list. I can share a little screenshot here of my to-do list today, and I go through that while the kids are awake. I try to spend nap time doing things that I can't do when they're awake, or doing things that are more enjoyable to do when they aren't awake. So most of the time it looks like getting work things done that I can't do when they're awake, but there are days where things have just been, it's been a really busy week or whatever, and I just need a little bit of a break. And so I'll spend time doing tasks like dishes or different things like that that I can easily do when they are awake, but it's a little bit more enjoyable to like put a podcast on and fully tune out completely and just get it done, or go to my room and fold laundry and watch a YouTube video, things like that. So there is balance in that always, and occasionally if I have a really long week, I'll schedule a day in there where I don't work at all during nap time and I just relax and I read my book and I reset and I maybe watch a TV show or whatever, and give myself that time to rest and reset. And so nap time is going to look different for you based on your season of life, like what your priorities are, if you are working from home, if you're not, etc. But like I said, I do aim to mostly try and use nap time to accomplish things that I can't do when my kids are awake, and then I do more of my resting and things like that in the evening time. So just to give you, I don't know if that's helpful to know or not, but I feel like it's helpful as a mom to see what other moms are doing. So today specifically during my work time, I'm going to work on creating a reel, and then I'm going to work, my main work task is filming this video. So I've been obviously doing that during nap time, and also researching topics and planning out the rest of my topics for before the baby gets here. So through the end of February, I don't know for sure when baby will arrive, but at least planning out through the end of February all of my weekly videos. And you have to kind of research keywords and different titles and different things like that for YouTube, and so that's what I'm spending my time doing today. Up my work tasks, and usually the only other thing during nap time that I am doing is spending a little bit of time doing some household chores, and that kind of varies on whether I start out doing that. Sometimes I'll start out doing a few household things like while I'm making lunch and before I sit down, and then sometimes I'll finish up my work and do it like right before I get the kids up. It just depends. And those are like smaller things. Like I said, I don't really like to spend a lot of time doing anything that I can do once they're up. So some days I'm not doing any household tasks at all, and it's all just work. But there definitely are days where I am putting away dishes that I did earlier in the day. I just take 5 minutes to do that, get it done, or putting a load of laundry in so that then I can transfer it and get it put away before, you know, the kids go to bed, so I can get it put in their room, or whatever it may be. Obviously there's a list of household tasks, but I just mentioned that because that is something that I am not doing every single day, but I pretty consistently am doing some small household task here or there, cleaning up toys, you know, just those kind of things. So I wanted to give you like a realistic look at what I actually spend my time doing. I have to be pretty strict with making sure that I don't spend too long on other tasks that I have on my to-do list, at least on the days that I'm really focusing on work, which is the majority of my days for me in this season. With building businesses and still being home with my kids, it's very, very important to me that I spend the time that they are awake with them, and that I am intentionally like investing in them. Obviously I'm doing some household chores when they're awake as well, just like any mom would be. You gotta get things done, but I don't want to be doing work tasks while they are awake, for me personally, in this season of life. And so I have to be really strict with making sure that I'm not just letting myself lay on the couch for longer than necessary or longer than I should be during nap time. Like I said, there are days that rest is needed and balance is key, and all that. I can talk more about that. I've learned so much about this in recent years, but I am very disciplined in my work time at this point during nap time. So we have made a lot of progress on our to-do list for the day. I got like most of the high priority items done. I have a few things I need to get done tonight, but the majority of the things were accomplished today, which is great. But there are definitely days where I have to move items from one day to the next day because it doesn't get done, and that's okay. Give yourself grace if that happens. I've gotten a lot better at being realistic about what I can get in a day, but there are still sometimes things on my list that get moved for several days, or things that I'm procrastinating on, if I'm being honest, that get moved even longer than that. So it does happen, and give yourself grace when that happens. But I do think that the to-do list really helps me to stay on track just with keeping up in my house as well as with my work and doing things with the kids and stuff like that throughout the day as well. So another thing that I'll mention is this is the general outline of what I do during nap time to be productive and get things done, but the order of things does fluctuate here and there just based on what I need to get done. There are definitely times where I am spending like all of the time, aside from eating lunch, working on work things because I have a deadline to meet, or there's days, like I've said, where I give myself a little bit of a break and I'm doing more household things instead of work things. So it does change every day. Every day is a little bit different just based on what I need to accomplish for that day and in that season, but kind of the rhythm and routine of it and the main aspects pretty much stay the same, and I accomplish all of those the majority of the days during nap time. So I hope that this video was encouraging to you and maybe had some helpful tips for how you can get a lot done as a stay-at-home mom or a work-from-home mom, some new ideas for some rhythms or different things that you could include in nap time to get some rest in for yourself and recharge before you tackle the rest of the day, as well as getting work tasks accomplished and things around the house and all that. So I hope that was helpful to see, and if you want to see more of that kind of thing, I've been sharing a lot over on Instagram in reels and in my stories of different rhythms and routines that I have that have worked really well for us. I've spent a lot of time focusing on building healthy rhythms and routines to be really productive and get a lot done, but also really prioritize rest and like slow living and all of those things over the past few years. So I've started sharing more of that over on Instagram as well, so you can follow me. It's the same as here on YouTube, just KyAnn Mat is my handle. I'll link it below if you want to go follow me, but I would love to see you over there as well. And if you're new to my channel, again, I would love if you would subscribe and join us here on YouTube for these longer form videos. I love creating them. It's been so much fun, and seeing this community grow is one of the most exciting things to me because I'm so passionate about sharing this stuff, and I love the friends that I've already been able to make on here. So thank you so much for sticking around, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, friends.